I'm excited about this video. So this is my A plus 30-minute PO3, and today I was just wanting to trade based off of time. And my exit was like 3 minutes till close. It was close to 5 minutes, okay. To the opening PO3, and I wanted to be close to the high. So after the sweep, if it wasn't showing a nice rejection on the 30-second, I really just wanted to exit right there because we secured an RR of just 2-2. And because my stop was 50 points and I was in break even, and that took away basically like the price action, like a third of the price action that I was in, because that's the RR. If I wanted to go break even, it was if I was gonna get any kind of sweep down here for 10 a.m. PO3, which opened up right here, because right, I'm expecting 10 a.m. to do something opposing or continuation of 30-minute. And today we continued. We can use our 10:30 and 10 a.m., which we're going to get into. But off of this alone, off this sweep, in this 30-second window, we have 5 more minutes before 10 a.m. I think it was just going to trade in the 2 minute because our entry was off, our hold was off of this 2 minute. I entered prematurely to get a better entry. I saw that. Actually, let's start with the daily because the daily to me honestly was uncertain. I did not know what the daily AMDX was doing. I was sure it was XAMD. If we look on the 5 minute, just take away the charting. Actually, I need the cycles. Okay, so XAMD expansion. This looks like accumulation to me. Manipulation. If you look at the exact time, I'm not looking at this high. I'm looking at where it started reversing. Accumulation, manipulation. In this, I was sure we were going to move to true day open and possibly in the new daily opening gap, but come open, I had this range marked out on the 1 hour. If we look on ES, this is a little different. The 1 hour did not get tapped, so we were higher in the range. True day open was not mitigated. YM really. Oh, I have YM on my separate chart, so we don't need to discuss YM, but I can show it up later actually. But right here, after this 1 hour supported, we have another 90-minute that I want to look at because these are the only gaps we're playing off of. If you look on the 4 hour, we're not doing any retraces to a 4 hour in quite a long time. So what I'm looking for is these 1 hour and these 90-minute. 90-minute, I'm gonna keep saying it, 90-minute. So right here, see how much cleaner it looks on the 90-minute. So what I have is the quadrants of the 90-minute because it's higher time frame. I have the gap of the 1 hour because it's in our optimal trade entry. I can draw it out, but like you really get the point. CE of that, we're actually going to keep that up so I can show you how this plays out in the lower time frame. So right here, we're approaching our objective, all-time high. ES has already taken it. And this is our high time frame trade. So I was in for this trade, holding my stop. If we look on the 15-minute, this is a 1 to 4-4, but I'm trading combines right now, so I only made about that. So including the Asia win that I took here, and then I entered in again. More cons. I had stops break even because I was sure it was gonna move up, but ended up being a bit lackluster. So I was expecting this to be X because of the volatility in the beginning and accumulation manipulation. So that was my thought for the daily cycles. You can see now we're like getting that movement up in the distribution on the 90-minute. So XAMD is for sure what the 90-minute was. So we have an expansion of the range. We create that V shape. Accumulation coming into open. Manipulation in manipulation at open, which is what our PO3 was based off of and what our continuation was based off of. It'd be pretty obvious to hold because we're just in like all-time high programming. So it's like where, like I said, the 4 hours not getting a retrace, 1 hour and 90-minute is. So that's the highest time frame that we're trading to. Other than that, 15, 5, and 1, and the 2 minute if it's like price action like today, right? Because that 2 minute is still getting tapped and respected, right? That would be kind of your stop loss for the body on a close, which the wicks would probably be around right here. So that's why our 1 hour CE got barely, almost touched right there on the 1 hour CE. And that is in our range about if we talk about 0.07 right there, that's bottom tick. 0.62, which is like a nice discount, is where I took my entry. That's right there in the lower quadrant. So I traded about, of the 90-minute for value gap, I traded 75% of that right there to the high. So that's what my trade was based off of. This hold is looking incredible. You just had to wait out that 90-minute because we're essentially just waiting for candles to close. Look at that, no wick bottom. That's how aggressive it was. That's how ready it was to go. So trade on the 90-minute now, and that correlates to the 5-minute. So that's why 5-minute retraces. That's why we're using those standard deviations of that retrace, because I'm going to show you the projection here. So because we're so aggressive, I mean, it's not even 12 and we're already moving a good like 200 points and counting. So I would, put something right here if you wanted to try to risk it to get, more, because we're probably likely going to expand. Our -4 standard deviation is all the way up here. So that could be like next day's price delivery, close to the end of the week. So that's what my trade is based off. We're coming into True New York, and I'm going to pull up YM because YM is the reason I exited at the time I did, because we hit True New York at 9:38, and just when did we exit? What time did we exit? 9:55. So it was coming up here. I exited right here, when we were breaking through CE of this range. I mean, we are supposed to be supporting off of that 2-minute, so it was breaking below it. I decided to sell 55 right there when it was like kind of back in the range around there. And so I decided to do that because 10 a.m., YM and ESNAQ, they're the complete opposite sometimes. And sometimes that's like the perfect thing you need, because if it's clearly the opposite direction, then you know that we're gonna, and high time frame supports the narrative that we're going higher, then it's so likely that we're gonna go higher. So off of that, Kraken correlations that I used was the 90-minute 90-minute accumulation was right there, that low. I was so surprised when ES did not sweep that, because this microcycle technically broke. So we had no microcycle right here between this low, because coming to open, we took this internally, but in the high time frame, we did not sweep the 90-minute, and the 90-minute holds power. And so I just saw this as a bigger confirmation to enter, because our 90-minute was respecting in the discount, and I wanted to get in this lower portion, because really this lower quadrant right here, this area is where the reversal lows are at. So just even like attempting that with the same stop I had, you would be in a great position for re-entry for 10 a.m. So re-entry for 10 a.m., this is what I would do. Let's keep that range in. Right here, come 10 a.m. open, we have our high of the range and low for our 90-minute. We had to flip that around. So we have our high and low for our 90-minute. We have discount. This is our lowest discount, which really isn't even that low. So a sweep right here, if you entered off of this low, you get around the area we'd want to be at for a discount sweep. So 10 a.m. opens, manipulates. Then if you are still waiting and you're waiting for another retrace, we create a range, expand, and then come into discount. You have to go to probably the 15-second for this one. You look at the balanced price range, and right here would be a great entry, which is where, like exactly where that 90-minute accumulation is. So I know that we're moving higher from there. And also, if you wanted to like try to play the smallest fair value gap that we had in the range, that would be bottom tick entry for the 4-hour Po3. And for something like this, if you don't get in off the first range, you're kind of holding for what feels like kind of a long time. Because say you're in earlier, You're in here, you're getting an entire retrace. It's coming back to balance price range. So you have to remember that, like this 30 seconds, see how that held for every single body and perfectly for 10:30. You just have to wait a little bit longer because 10:30 in the new 90 minute is when the 4 hour and the 90 minute and the 1 hour is correlated. So it's just top performance for price action that get the biggest move. So waiting for that, what I'm looking for is to sell or to buy under 10 a.m., 10:30. So this inversion for value up, if you didn't play this, if you didn't take that small RR entry, because your stop would be like right there at that point at the CE of that or a little bit lower. So it'd be still like 42 points, but the upside to that getting to 1 to 1 would be, I mean, even 1 to 2 would happen pretty quick because we have relative highs. So if you didn't take that, if you did not take this, then waiting for this inversion, the trade is still in a discount entry. So that inversion right there would be the last resort for 10:30, and that RR. If you got in after the closure, I would put it, you can narrow your stop, right? Let's see if you can. Yeah, I could narrow my stop to like 20. Really, I'd put it back here. I'd put it back at 10. Like 30 points, 30, 40 points for this range. Yeah, yeah, 40 points. 40 points at most. So 40 points to 40 points. I mean, actually, let's look at the RR. Because that puts you at, oh, I just moved it. Oh, there you go. That puts you at like 1 to 1, yeah, more than 1 to 1 at those highs, and that's like a very, very low hanging fruit objective. So from there, you would go break even possibly, or wait for this to possibly get tapped. But since we're expanding now, I would sell based on time if you were break even because large retraces are just happening on the lower time frame consistently. So if we just take like a OTE of the range we're in now, CE would be like stop break even. So if you wanted, if like something would happen, if we start moving on the 15 minute, 5 minute CISD, then it might not be that the entire trade is reversing on the higher time frame, but we're just making a retrace to our discount entry because there's like nothing in terms of balanced price range. I mean, this is just complete green candles. It's even like on the lower time frame, 30 second, not a single, and this is just like in place. These candles are in place. They're not like giving downward price action like these black candles, like these well, red candles, but I like them black. So right here we have our basically I think 3 entries. This one would be all right. I mean, really this entry, the 2 minute, this discount entry off of the sweep would be great, especially if you held that stop loss and didn't move break even. And if you didn't get in there, getting in on in this might have stopped you out if you went break even too early, but I would wait for a fair value up to get inversed. Right here, it didn't get inversed quite yet, and so when time aligned, you just had to wait for 10:30. And what I also need to mark is the microcycles because this was you're expecting X, so if we're narrowing this down, expansion, accumulation, manipulation, and manipulation, that should be our lowest low of the day. This true microcycle open is what I'm using as a CISD for the day. So manipulation, distribution, okay, we're just kind of lackluster in the microcycle. We need to align time. And then we start distributing at 10:30. We get our manipulation down. Not even manipulation. It's just where's that? No, it wasn't even manipulation. Like ES was so nice today. It did not sweep any lows like NQ. But just at that time, 10:30, when we started our distribution 90 minute, is when we got the large volume at open. So these big candles, and then our X was clearly expansion because we expanded probably 100 points. And accumulation happening now, manipulation, which could happen lower, could be all-time high. Actually, it probably is all-time high, yeah, because ES swept all-time high. And so we're probably moving lower from here. So if you're like in a day trader, you don't want to hold on to a trade for more than like an hour and a half, 2 hours, then I would exit like now. So that is how I kind of go by instinct on closes, something like that. So I don't really need to use um the microcycle for each cycle in the 90-minute coming to open. You can, if you even if you should like trade earlier, like this is a perfect sell in London to the discount. This is just a perfect like market maker buy model you can see from this OTE range. And we didn't even tap true day open or any daily cycles. This is just off internal structure and PA analysis with OTE. So you don't even need all the high time frame cracks, and you really don't get them a lot in all time high because we're just pushing off of the lower time frames.